same basic MO, though, says Delgado. Single attacker overwhelming physical strength, no obvious motif. She gestures and a new file unfolds into existence.
The story continues. You watch Delgado's face as the vid file plays. It's grisly stuff, but she's watching intently. Well, she noted, this is interesting, Vina. Frank turned away almost immediately. It's so creepy, she whispers. Just empty. Okay, says Delgado when the vid is done. So, we've got proof that bioroids can kill, which means that we're on the right track here. Officially, there's no such thing as a bioroid killer, says Frank. And unofficially, the NAPD found it and destroyed it anyway. But, Delgado hops up, shoving her face into the camera. That was a lie. The brass told us to get this corp off our back. The bioroid is still at large, and now we have the advantage. Your secretary chimes in. But what about the new killings? What new killings? Asks Frank. Delgado retreats, clawing at a forest of vert files. The boss told me to flag anything on the net that could be related, and, well, here. Bodiless AI can't shrug, but Proxy manages it anyways. A new vid file starts playing with new bodies. Task: Targeted Denial. It's all connected. The cover-up, the conspiracy, the killings. You can feel it. What's more, you're sure you'll be able to prove it, and soon. But it won't be easy. Someone else is out there. Someone inside the corpse working against you. For every move you make, there's a counter-move. You have an enemy, but an enemy is something you know how to deal with. Objective: By the numbers. We have to consider the possibility that this is a new killer, says Frank. I've asked Nirvana to assign me to this case, so I should be able to get some forensic data to compare, even if the corpse tried to cover it up. It's the same basic MO, though, says Delgado. Single attacker, overwhelming physical strength, no obvious motive. She gestures, and a new case file unfolds into existence into your shared Meatbox data field. We'll treat it as a link until we learn otherwise. I don't think you understand me, says Frank. It's definitely linked. We have to consider the possibility that there's more than one killer bioroid. Oh, says Delgado. Oh. Caution, driven by fear. You wake up screaming, your dream already fading. It was something about metal fingers pressing into your mouth and tearing your jaw off. A dispassionate bioroid face. Also, something about a suit and a tie. The dreams are getting weirder. You wonder whether your BMI is buffering the material of your runs over your research and bleeding it out during your sleep cycle. You resolve to sleep less. Caution, risky endeavor. I can't protect you on this, says Delgado. It's another face-to-face meet, for Haldo this time. Delgado won't look you in the eyes. She keeps her attention on her frozen treat. I know runners accept risk. It's part of the game. She leans back, looking up at the rows of hoppers zipping across the sky. But this is something different. She stands across, tossing her treat into the nearest trash. Stay safe, okay? Card update. Investigator Inez Delgado. Investigator Inez Delgado is 70% Sass by volume. The remainder is mostly cocksure braggadocio and jokes. Somewhere in there is a brilliant runner and a halfway decent cop.
Hi everybody, here's Krystian from TeamworkCast.
And this is Gereon.
And this is our Terminal Directive campaign, game number 3. Mm-hmm. I've cheated myself into opening the pack. So now I'm actually reading right now the pack that you just heard, where the runner is about to find out what is happening, and there is some cautions happening for me as well now. So we both have cautions now. So my cautions are I'm not supposed to have less than 3 credits at the end of my turn, and I have to make a run every turn.
Yeah, something bad happens if you don't.
Yeah. And then also there's like a special task where there's like a countdown. We have to trash a certain amount of corporation cards, and once I reach that number, then I also open something.
It's 7 cards you need to trash.
I feel bad because so far all of the misplays we did are kind of against you. Like we forgot to count the tags you did, and then I opened the tags. But yeah, it's we're playing this in a casual sense. It's
very, very casual.
It's not very competitive this game right now, and there's beers involved.
Beers and pizza.
Beers and pizza, and that's true. So maybe our play will be now enhanced that we have been filled with pepperonis. Okay, so the corporation, we already know how this works. These are, I think that was one of the criticisms. You play the same deck over and over again. So you learn this matchup very well.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you install two ice, and I do actually in this time a Forge activation order, which I save a click this way because I would have run into this Enigma. And then I get some credits with Easy Mark.
Easy Mark.
Face check into this, and then ice on R&D. I'm double checking if the run had to be successful that I do every turn.
You just have to make a run.
But I don't think I will be able to avoid those cautions. Like, I think the cautions are way more restrictive for the runner. For you just have to avoid to draw 2 times, which is very easy avoidable. And 20 credits is, if you have 20 credits, then you're really rich as a corporation. Okay. And then you're closing up the
because the last 2 games you had Sneak Door on the table.
And the second turn.
Second turn.
So that's a good time.
I don't want to have that again.
It's a good. So I think it's really nice because it kind of like shows you that you learn each other's decks. Over the time, and then you can also exploit that. Of course, you can be like,
it's not necessarily a drawback.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, I didn't see Hunt the Seeker. Yeah. If I was smart, I would have removed the Sacrificial Construct, perhaps. Yes. But I still wasn't so sure about that. Maybe maybe you haven't played a Hunt the Seeker because I had the Sacrificial Construct. All right, so now Maker's Eye. That's good. I'm going to see a lot of cards. There's things that need to be trashed. Oh, there was even, I think, an archer at the end there. Okay. You use the ability. We also, I think, forgot your ability a couple of times, but I think for the important cards, I always ask you. It would be weird if I just put count save in there and didn't ask you if you want to trash this. Okay, so right now R&D is a little bit vulnerable for you.
I desperately need to find some ice.
You decide to go with the remote server there. Well, I think I saw it on R&D, so I think I have a good idea what it is. I think it might be either Todeshin or
KP Lin.
Well, the upgrade must be KP Lin. Yeah, I know. I saw it in the previous games, but it's either Mr. Stone or Todeshin that is in there. And of course, they're behind an ice, so getting rid of that server is going to be very expensive. I think I'm going to get an Epic Nail here, which is going to be very expensive. I love this card so much, Gereon. I love it. As criminals, we suddenly get into this weird situation where it's like, I have influence, but I don't know how to spend the influence, guys. Very good card. Very good card. Beautiful art as well. So much love there. All right. So now I can break code gates. So I guess HQ is also a little bit open. And last click run on HQ. I also something I realized I often run on things on my last click. I'm just one. Quite often, I'm just one snare away from
fiery death.
Maybe this is a foreshadowing for you. How about that? We don't really know. I'm not going to spoil. There's Mr. Stone. I always think he looks like this alt-right guy. I just want to punch him in the face, but it's so expensive, man. Oh, I actually triggered my ability. Because I'm...
and you ended the turn with less than 3 credits.
Yeah, so the Epic Nail installation was very expensive, and so now we'll trigger pack 4.
Heightened alert. You feel it mainly as a tight buzz at the back of your skull. It runs down your spine, out into your fingertips whenever you're jacked in, leaving you uncomfortably aware of your entire body. Your secretary explains, "You are now very popular. You're on every watch list I monitor, and a few more Delgado's secretaries shared with me." Delgado's face suddenly resolves and vert above your rig. "And now I can't take you off them. Don't ask. Not for a few weeks anyways." Watch lists aren't a death sentence. There are ways around them, but now everything you do for the foreseeable future is going to be just that little bit harder. You have to route icebreakers remotely to convince the server that they're not associated with your address, then script intermediary AIs to reduce lag. Then... Task: walking the edge. "The quickest way to dodge these watch lists is to change your signature," explains the stylized fox with the half-moon spectacles. "You're in members only, still trying to resolve your watch list problems." And says a bright pink cat with a fishbowl space helmet.
"But that's not easy. You're talking about a complete scrub down to pre-install, throwing out pretty much all your code and starting over."
The fox shrugs. "I didn't say it was easy, I said it was fast." The fox turns to you, its flat color eyes narrowing. The thing is a collection of bright shapes that happen to add up to fox, like a panel from a comic book. It also would leave you vulnerable for a while, but it will also solve your problem.
So I think the pack that we just got is It's a crippling pack that will completely change the course of this game forever now. At least for this specific one game, because I got a current. Mm-hmm. Every time I use an icebreaker,
it costs
2 credits.
2 credits more,
which is insane because, I think that means for every subroutine I pay 2 credits,
yes.
And for raising the strength I pay every time 2 credits more.
Every time.
I basically can't have 2 credits.
Yeah.
And you also made a really great play because I saw Mr. Stone and I thought it was Mr. Stone in there, but it was in fact
evidence collection.
Jesus Christ, this was such a good play. You tricked me. You played me like a violin. So I'm in a horrible situation. I have to get rid of this current. Luckily, the current is kind of easy to get rid of. Mm-hmm. It will take some time, but it's my top priority right now. The goal is I have to get rid of all of my cards on my hand.
Yeah.
And I just realizing that I just can't, there's no way I will score agenda with this current in play.
Yeah, you're not making enough money.
Maybe with lucky pull.
On the runner side, it's actually fairly easy to get rid of all of your cards. There's the same effect on the cop side as well, and that's what I found basically impossible to achieve.
Yeah, there's just an agenda on your hand.
Yeah, or Scorched, which you can play unless the runner's tagged, and so.
So for me, it's I only have 4 credits. I don't have actually enough credits to play a lot of cards. Mm-hmm. So it's do I draw more cards to get economy? I mean, the easy mark will definitely help here. But I actually don't want to draw any cards, so maybe I want to try to play all the cards. But then it's thinking how will I play all those cards? What will I spend the money on? It's tough, especially if I'm not sure. But if you're stuck with a femme fatale on your hand, then you have to get rid of her.
Yeah.
Well, Sneak Door is a good choice.
Sneak Door is good.
I can at least make you resin ice. It's clear now that this is not Mr. Stone or Todeshin or so I can afford to to face check into an ice with last click. And you give me an access there.
So, yeah.
So maybe I will actually get... Nope, it's Todeshin. That's why like your deck is getting really Waylandy. There's a lot of really horrible stuff in there. I can't stop looking at this horrible man. I think you exploit this fact here a little bit here by installing more stuff. You give me more access. Oh, that's not what I want to see. I'm beginning to think that you might have no agendas on hand.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe I top decked one and immediately put it into the server.
Or maybe that would be probably a good play. So the problem is, like, one of the cards I had in my hand was a special order. Mm-hmm. So I get actually a second Corroder because that was the cheapest option.
Yeah, I remember I was wondering about that. What is he doing?
I mean, I could have gotten an epic name, but I would have to click for credits to get install the epic name.
Yeah. Lustig.
So, but that's even worse for 5 credits or something.
I know.
So I thought maybe I just thin out the decks, make sure they get rid of the cards in my hand, and then I can maybe start running before you ice up more.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so tempting. Like, it's just an ice wall on R&D. It's don't put it on R&D. Oh yes, thanks. That's nice.
Yeah.
Your credits go. And I just I need to get those credits.
Yeah, somehow you have to pay for your fun, right?
Yes. I think there's a fun one there.
Yes, I saw it. It's Corona. Femme fatale.
Okay, I think I trigger now my thing because I didn't run, obviously.
Yes.
So there's a second pack opening, pack number 3.
You're not paranoid. You buy a New Angeles Soul and a can of Mercury at an upscale kiosk not far from your flop in Rutherford. As you leave, you see the attendant speak into a mic at her wrist. When you get to your flop, you realize the cat on your stoop hasn't moved in 10 hours. It sees you looking at it, yawns, and leaves. The next morning you see it on a window ledge on the building across the alley, 10 stories up. Didn't you see that man playing backgammon in the park yesterday? Not this park, the one in Esmeralda's. Is that the same kid you bumped into on the street the day before? You're being followed, you're sure of it. Why, you can't imagine. You have to wave Delgado off at your next meet space meeting, and you can't get to any of your regular contacts. Even when you jack in, you feel nervous. What if one of them is in the room? How would you know with your senses hijacked by your BMI? This is intolerable. You must find a way to shake your shadows. Task: confuse the trail. You take random routes. You step into clothing shops and buy new clothes, throwing the old ones away. You read old spy novels in Dead Tree format in case they've got a tap on your pad, mining George Smiley and James Bond and Elsa Gunn for ideas. Sometimes it works. You get entire afternoons, once most of a day, to yourself, but the shadows always return again in time.
I really loved this pack. Mm-hmm. This is the one where you get the shadow team. So now there's like 3 resources in my deck.
Which you also have to include only when we start the next game.
Yes, they come in the next game. They not show up in this game, but whenever I draw them, I have to immediately install them. I guess I'm assuming not using a click. And then they do bad things. I have to discard cards to make runs and stuff like that. But they're actually easier to deal with. And I also have to score like 2 agendas in 1 turn to get rid of them. Which I think they're really nice. The cards are nice, and the way to get rid of them is also nice. You can also get rid of them while you trigger them. It's good. It's good stuff. 4 credits go. You're saving up for that fem. This is so good.
Yeah, you need 11, right?
Yeah.
Corona and FAM is 11.
That's true. Yes. And then also, when I install the FAM, of course, I also want to run with the FAM, so I probably need some extra credits as well. Making sure I photograph, document the state of our
The
thing.
Japanese iPhone.
The Japanese iPhone that always makes noises no matter what you do. That's such a horrible current. If that current was ever printed, that like people would lose their mind for good reasons. And I think you, Gereon, are using this opportunity now to get rid of your Trojans, right?
Yeah, working towards 7 eyes on centrals.
I think it's a good opportunity because I kind of like basically in my head I just gave up this game and I'm gonna say like, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of this current and to pave the way for future games perhaps.
Yeah, femme fatale. Overwriting the sneaker. And now, overwrite the Corona. Yeah!
Yes! And then it's your turn. But at least I have no cards in my hand, so I can get rid of. Oh, right, I still have 1 click left. So I said, okay, I'm gonna try a card. Oh, this is too good. Yeah, because you have to actually end the turn with no cards on hand. That's the way this works. So yeah, this is the moment where I'm supposed to actually rip this card in half. And I think we did it later on. Not now, because I want to still scan the card. But yeah, here's me ripping the card apart. Good riddance, I'd say. Good riddance, sir.
Yes.
This horrible current, stupid thing. Oh, there we go. Fem token. The beautiful new Fem tokens. Oh, I hope they will bring up more. I would love to have the security testing token.
Yeah, security testing token would be great. There's a couple more cards now.
Yeah.
Patron
token as well. Yes. Would be also nice.
Cyber Cipher.
Oh, yes. Cyber Cipher.
But that's not worth it anymore.
Yeah,
it rotates out.
Or even maybe that's even better because then, it's like at least we're going to remember Cyber Cipher in our hearts, in this for token form. It's kind of weird that in FAQ they fixed security testing, but not Patreon.
Oh, but Patreon is you may choose a server.
Oh, you may choose a server.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think the fix for security testing is basically to bring it in line with how Patreon is worded.
That's good. And I didn't realize that. That's good.
And it removes the number of misplays you can make. Make the first run. Where did you put security testing? It's basically illegal game state.
Yeah.
Now it's a mayability. Yeah, so you didn't do it.
It's more streamlined.
Don't get money this turn.
I mean, there have been some really high ranking games like in Worlds where I think Elad did had a situations where he left security testing on HQ and didn't get an access because of that. Yeah. So I did put my FEM on the ice that is on the remote server. We're going to see about that if that was a good choice. But it's actually like we haven't seen all of our decks yet, but there's actually some cards in there that are really good with remote servers.
Money.
And so you trigger another pack now. So this is going to be pack
because
number
I'm
4.
over 20 credits at the end of my turn.
Over 20 credits, yes.
Zhang is tearful as she stands with her few personal items in her arms.
It's not me!
She says.
I told you I'm on your side in this. It's not me.
You were concerned she would make a scene, so you brought 2 security staffers with you for this. Each gently but firmly takes hold of one of her arms.
This is ridiculous. I'm not the leak. What would my motivation possibly be?
You don't have to stay for this, boss, says the taller one. We can take it from here.
You need me!
Shrieks Zhang as she's marched down the hallway.
The board is going to replace me and my replacement isn't going to be your friend.
Sloane appears at your elbow as Zhang vanishes behind sound-dampening elevator doors.
Hate to say it, boss, but I think she's right. I really don't think she's our guy. They used to call it a barium meal test back in, never mind.
Sloane clasps his hands together behind his back and peers out your window.
Hell of a view.
He turns back to you.
The basic idea is that we start encoding the information we share with employees, embedding it with subtle tracers, so when it shows up on the outside, we can tell from which specific employee it leaked from.
You stand and cross to the window as well, looking down at the floors and floors of employees below you. How many of them will this test catch?
There's a caveat, of course, boss. You have to trust that I'm not the mole. Otherwise, this whole thing is tainted. Maybe bring in someone from the outside.
Sloane coughs, shifts his weight.
Well, I'll leave you to think.
So this pack is about you getting that impossible to remove current.
Yes, this will stay for us for the rest of these video series.
or will it? We don't know, but it will stay for a long
It
time.
will stay for a very long time.
Luckily, it's not as crippling as
Yes,
my current.
but it's still it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So the idea is that the first, as long as it's active, advancing a card costs 1 more credit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ran out that server, and then it's Mr. Stone and Lynn, the tag team, so to speak. That's a really good combination there. You're
And now raising the ice.
yeah. So Lynn gives a tag, and Mr. Stone makes a meat damage when you get a tag. Now you're thinking if you're going to rest this ice, which I think, I don't think that was a good choice, because that's a data raven, and if I hadn't fent it, it would have been a deadly server. Oh, well, not deadly, but it would have been a horrible server.
Horrible.
But right now it's. All right. Right now I skip the data raven with a fem, don't get the tag. Get a meat damage, and now you finally trigger.
Finally, trigger my.
Yeah, you can get a card from R&D, right? Man, this game is just full of triggers. So you just open all of the packs. This game. I also get 2 triggers because I trashed 2 of your cards. I actually will start being more aggressive about trashing stuff from now on because I want to get rid of this, or I want to complete this objective. Also, it's really neat that I have like this remote server that I can get in for 1 credit. That will also help me a lot.
And I mean, we now have 4 of the 4 cautions triggered. So we threw caution to the wind, you could say. Yes, we can. And what I was going to say is since this is our second playthrough, we had a little experience of what these cautions actually did. And we found that they are not as crippling or negative effects as we maybe initially thought. So
or maybe, let's say...
in this playthrough, we were basically a little bit reckless.
Yeah,
and
we kind of anticipated what's coming up, but also maybe not crippling, but let's say they are crippling, but they're also fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and so I think that that's was one takeaway, and it's something that I probably will do another video that giving tips for newcomers. But I think somebody else there's some other people who already did this. This is how you play the campaign the best way, and I think the best way is to actually go to trigger the cautions at some point. Maybe not everything in one game like we did here, but maybe you stagger them a little bit. But I think they bring a lot to the game, and I think you miss out a lot if you don't go through this process because they're really fun.
Yeah, makes for a more interesting game.
I think like design-wise, again, I would probably do a video on some design takeaways from this. But I think it would have been nicer if the cautions were something that the other side could trigger. I mean, you technically can a little bit. You can force the runner to make. They couldn't ice up all the servers, so the runner can make it run or something.
The other thing that I would like to see if we ever get a second campaign expansion would be that these kinds of triggers. The number of triggers that open packs mid-game or even mid-run are reduced.
Oh, you don't like this?
Because it basically is, it's on your second click or whatever, and it interrupts for quite some time.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to read quite a lot of text. You have to do stuff, new triggers, old triggers disappear, and so on and so forth.
But on the other hand, I really like the fact that you could just get like a current mid-game, suddenly a current from nowhere appears. That's brought a lot of...
Yeah, that's true. That's a neat effect.
So something that I was happy that it finally paid off is that I was able to install the bank drop here. And this one server that I use the FAM on, I could actually run on the server and use the bank drop. So that's great. But you, of course, immediately realize that this is a huge vulnerability and replace the eyes there.
Yeah, so the next goal for me is to put one more piece of ice on the central server so that I can trigger my Trojan removal subroutines.
Yeah, you're almost there. Yeah, you're just 2 eyes away from removing the Trojans, which we haven't actually seen in play.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it in the last game.
No.
And then we're removing the bank drop from the game because we forgot to do this previously. You are doing quite well in this game. Like I was slowed down by the caution quite a lot, and I haven't seen a single agenda yet. You already are 3 agendas ahead,
and all of your tag protection is still missing.
Yeah.
No crash space, no decoy.
Nope. The sacrificial construct protection from a potential Hunter Seeker. Yeah, that's good.
Ain't gonna happen.
Wow. I mean, for a Hunter Seeker to be a problem, I would need to score an agenda here.
It's true.
But it's also kind of funny because you install all this ice because you want to get rid of the Trojans. But that also creates like those really intimidating central servers that I didn't want to run on without all my rig in place. Actually, technically, my rig is in place. I can break all of the things.
Yeah. Not in the most effective way with FAM.
No, I wouldn't want to encounter a FAM with a... otherwise, I wouldn't want to encounter a...
Data Raven or even the Archer.
Archer. I think it's like 10 credits or something with it. It's really rough, really rough.
So there's Maxwell.
That's good. And Ines.
Yes.
If there's one character from the campaign that really won my heart is Ines. I think one card says that she's 95% Sass. Which kind of paints a picture in my mind, which I really appreciate.
Okay.
I was sad that Ines maybe Ines will appear as a runner at some point.
She could, yeah. Or even as a regular connection.
Yeah.
They could reuse the character.
I feel like they're not really doing too much with NAPD. I think NAPD is such a big plays such a big role in this town, and it's literally a big deal. So you score out an agenda there, and I say like whatever, it counts, Siphon. There's just 2 eyes there. What could it be? It's just an ice ball.
Nice ball.
So it's just gonna be. We have 2 bad pups even.
Yeah.
So this is really not a
Well,
big
on the
deal.
hand, I'm on like 25 credits.
Yeah,
so
that's
down
true.
to 20.
And again, I ran on HQ. I could trigger Maxwell James, but it's not really worth it. I feel like the 1 extra link. I think he gives extra link. I think that helps me more. I think you want to remove the account siphon with your ability.
I always want to remove account siphons from the game.
I think there won't be a situation where I ever record account siphon. Running second time now. Seeing the C source and then removing both tags. I think I was also a bit upset that I didn't draw into my tag protection, but I think that's to be expected because this removing of the current took just so long.
Now we're discussing whether there need to be 7 present or you need to install the 7th piece of ice, and we interpret it as there need to be 7 already on centrals, and then when you install another piece of ice.
Yeah, and that's 8th ice that
the 8th piece of ice
doesn't have to be on a central.
It doesn't have to be on a central, yeah.
It's just while you're installing, then it has to be 7 on there. And it's 7 right now, so now the next ice that you install.
The next piece of ice will get rid of the Trojans. Yeah.
You were able to remove, by the way, the current. We missed it a little bit, but you removed the current. But it's not gone forever. It was just trashed in my heap. So technically, it's part of my deck now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's Todeshin again. This horrible person. Okay, second Enigma there. I'm getting a tag. Wrong checkbox.
Not lost the game,
That's good.
But at least we're starting to remember the triggers.
We're getting better. We're getting better. Getting frustrated that I don't have 2 cards on my discard pile to trigger my ability. But that's a Skorpios Steve matchup. Some people were saying oh, Skorpios negates Steve. And I feel like, that's to some extent it's true. But on the other hand, at least there's some kind of interaction going on. Mm-hmm. Because if you play against the BIOS, the Shaper identity, Skorpios would just trash all the cards and she has no recursion whatsoever. Yes. So that wouldn't do anything to her. There were situations where I was thinking about maybe I will play this card, so we trash it, so I can play this more valuable card.
Yes,
that brought some strategy into this actually, and you also probably.
Yes, of course. And whenever, now there's the 8th piece of ice.
So now Trojan gets removed from the game and actually ripped into pieces. Again, we're not going to do it right now. But we will do it eventually. Mm-hmm. So here's us dripping those into pieces. It's kind of sad that we haven't... I think we're going to drip in 2 of them right now. No, we don't. It's kind of sad that we didn't see what it does. Because I think it's really fun if you encounter one of those as a runner. But I think it was a bit too easy to remove those guys. 7 ice is not...
7 ice is not that much, yes.
It probably should have been other way around. The current should have been 7 ice. Mm-hmm. And removing your hand maybe should have been... Because you can also remove the Trojans in different ways. Whenever you encounter the Trojans, it gets destroyed.
Yeah, but then it's more important to get rid of them this way because that, again, frees up deck slots.
It's true, yeah. Or wasn't it because on the other cards that you also get it's always
that was a later card that you have to add to your deck, but it doesn't count against your deck limit.
I think for a corporation, every card should have this on because it's the deck building, changing the math in deck building is just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, and agenda suites in Terminal Directive are hard enough as they are.
Yeah.
So basically going from 49 to 54 is... I never even considered it.
I love this play. I still make the Todeshin server because he's so annoying. And I know this will be painful because I will get 2 tags at least to get through there. And so now you open up another set mid-run. So this is set number 7 because you give me so much tags.
Delgado has an annoying habit of crashing unannounced into a vid call with you, wherever you happen to be, in your office, in your hopper, at home in bed. This time you're in the company gym, alone. So, not that I would know anything about chatter on illegal runner hideouts in the Shadow Net, she says with a Cheshire grin. But I hear you're making life very difficult for one of New Angeles' rising stars. You're not certain if the party hat, noisemaker, and streamers that accompany that statement are props she keeps at her desk in the NAPD or digitally inserted. But, well, our mutual friend is not happy about things, and there are some actual skills at play here. I thought I'd step in and keep everyone focused on the real objective. You know, the killer robot. So try this out. She gestures, and a new file spins into view in your pads tray. We use something like this to keep snoopers out of the NAPD, but this one has some enhancements. Keep the heart rate up. She dereses, and you wipe some sweat from your brow. That was a good thing?
So this is actually a really cool set because you get really crazy eyes.
Yes, it's what's it called again?
I forgot. We will show it right now. It has like 4 subroutines, and each of them is worse than another.
Yeah, horrible.
It will haunt me from now on because every eyes will become now this. It's 6 to res and 4 strength or something, and then 4 subroutines or something. It's crazy. It's just insane. And there's going to be a Hortum. So I'll get 2 tags that I expected. Could have been worse. It could have been another Data Raven. But it was good that I had the account side from here, the
Stimhack money.
Stimhack, because without Stimhack this would be unbreakable. Because still have to trash Todeshin, and he's tough to trash.
Yeah. If the Stimhack money, you have 2 bad pub. That's 11 credits on top.
And then even brain damaging away the easy mark. Und dann kann ich am nächsten Karte geschüttet. Das war ein krasser Trash. Dann sollte eigentlich 2 Häkchen. I'm suggesting I should put 2 check marks because this was a hardcore trash. But yeah, I actually trashed a card, so that's good. Something that I was wondering if you can score 2 Ines Delgados.
Actually, you can when you install them one after the other.
Yeah,
because you obviously can't have them both on the.
So in a score area means it's not on.
The score area is definitely not in play or.
So because there is a potential there to get a data dealer to sell Ines Delgado.
Yes.
But I think we never achieved that beautiful play. There should be like a community-made achievement list for Terminal Directive. You definitely already had one achievement there where it's like Todeshin and Mr. Stone. the best buddies, alt-right buddies.
So,
right.
What am I thinking about?
I'm not sure. You're at 4 points. You're doing well. You just need to install advanced something and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get me killed? Which clearly is your goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even close to winning. Like, I haven't seen an agenda in this entire game. I also like that I think you had an evidence collection already scored, yes? The first one.
Yeah, the first agenda, yeah.
So you're already set to open up your new pack if you win this game? I love this play, but it's like, okay, like, come and get me, It's like, it could be an agenda. Mm-hmm. If it's an agenda, I'm still not very far ahead, and you have so much money. I don't have any score protection.
Mm-hmm. Could be a snare.
Mm-hmm. I only have 4 cards in my hand because I have brain damage. It's not looking too good for Steve.
Inside jobbing.
It's not a good idea because I'm not saving any money, and I'm just losing yet another card that I need to survive.
Yeah, the inside job is much more valuable to you for the unrest ice on R&D.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's where I'm going.
That's what you do.
You found the counterplay to inside jobs. Just play the cheapest ice ever. I lost so much on this one. So it's an ice wall and wall of static and another ice wall. And yeah, you remove the inside job there. I'm going to get an access. I think that's the data raven that I saw there. I'm thinking about getting in a server. It's cost me 6, we counted.
6 credits.
I'm doing it. Last click, whatever.
Yeah, basically, it actually costs you only 4, right?
Yeah, because the bed pop. Yeah, so it's just 4.
Bam! I told you.
Uh-oh, this is not good. I will survive this, but if you have a scorch on hand, it's going to be the end of me. And the funny thing is I had the crash space in my hand. So I did this thinking, I just couldn't install the crash space afterwards and it's going to be nothing. But I ran on a second, let's click like an idiot I am. Also, I didn't want to run into, I should have installed first and then ran. Yeah. But I still needed 1 click afterwards. It was just impossible. My brain was too confused about all of this. I'm thinking about maybe of doing something. And there is Scorch. Well done, sir. Well done. That was a well-deserved Wayland win. Oh, man. And so many packs that we opened.
Yes.
All of the packs.
That has been a very fun game. And this was our first sitting, the first evening that we played through.
The last game from the first one.
Last game from our first sitting, and that has been a very fun afternoon.
Especially it was very good to hear about this because the first playthrough was very one-sided, and we were so glad that this is not just a completely broken box.
This felt much better.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We had a lot of fun opening all of those packs and sticking all of these things to our pads and closing the files on our objectives.
And also core set mashups are fun.
Yes,
it's good old Netrunner. It's getting breakers and enderruns and traps and snares. It's great. It's fun. And speaking of opening packs, you will now open the next pack at the beginning of next game. But we will leave you right now and we will continue on the next game. I hope you will join us next time around. As always,
Hack the planet!
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car!
Shit on me.
So this was a bit of a mishap there. We opened the wrong pack at the end. Well, I guess Gereon opened the right pack, but we recorded the wrong pack when we're recording this. That's because Gereon later will start using an ice from a different pack that he opened. And that's why there was a confusion. We had no time to re-record this one pack opening. I'm sorry about that, but I can tell you that the packs are very similar to each other. And especially the ice that you get from those packs is pretty much almost the same. So it's time for our Patreon shout out, and today's Patreon shout out is going to be to, wait a minute, Tantaralus. It's a very difficult nickname that Toby has here. He's been supporting us since 2015. He's one of the big TOs doing tournaments here in Germany, and I think the last year's Mannheim tournament he organized, he always brings great cookies to the tournaments. Thank you for your cookies, Toby, and thank you for your support. And if you guys want to join us in our Patreon campaign, you can always do this down here at patreon.com/hacktheplanet.